Welcome back to the exciting adventures of Beefstick the Barbarian. Last time, we went up to the top of the tower in Heritage Hill. Found the Animancer scientist guy up there. Was it Adelman? That was researching that tower unknowingly for the leaden key, or at least having the strings pulled by the leaden key. Turns out without his knowledge that device was turned on, and he and his research assistants were killed, and all that stuff happened in that area. I went back to the bottom of the tower and back out into that area. Visited the lady there who actually knew a heck of a lot more about that tower and how to work it than the scientist guy. Convinced her to tell me, give me the knowledge of how to operate it. Then I went back up there, and I had a choice. I could just turn it off, or I could overload it and destroy it. Overloading and destroy it would probably kill a whole bunch of souls. Granted, those souls don't know what much was going to happen to them, but I was torn. I wound up turning it off because I'm playing the good benign character, but quite honestly, I'm really torn because I think destroying it makes more sense. Because just turning that tower off, the device in it, the leaden key could come back there and just turn it back on. I would hope that once they talk to the Duke, they'll post guards around it and try to prevent that, but still, they could turn that device back on and set their nefarious plans back in action. If I destroy it, then good luck turning it back on, since, you know, it's dead. Oh, sweet, my curtain wall is done. But no going back now. The decision is the decision. Alright, so all the walls are completed. Basically, my what you would call stronghold is about as well defended as possible. But the only thing I could get for more security is training grounds. Well, I guess the woodland trails too. Actually, that's a good idea. I might want to. I might want to beef that up. Alright, cool. Horavius is still out on his adventure. Alright. He's going to be doing that until turn 37. It's turn 36. Alright, so next turn, Horavius will be done with that adventure. Alright. So, I talked to Lady Webb after doing that. Revealed what happened. And she said, we got to get into the Duke's Palace and into the hearing about animancy, so we could foil the leaden key's plan. Problem is that that hearing is closed off to the public, so I need to gain I need to gain the support of one of the groups to get in, either the Duminos, the Crucible Knights, or the Dozens. Well, the Duminos hate me with a passion, so that's not happening. The Crucible Knights kinda sorta like me. They tolerate me. The Dozens, they like me a lot. I've done a lot for them. So I think the Dozens is the way to go.
Yes.
Like, it's obviously not gonna happen with the Duminos, because those guys are actively trying to kill me. So, I guess it's off to Copper Lane. To the Expedition Hall. See if we could convince the folks there to get me into the hearings in the Ducal Palace. And hopefully, once I get into that hearing, that will end Act 2. I'm really determined. I'm hoping this is the episode we actually finish Act 2. It's been so long. Of course, mostly due to me getting sidetracked and doing a whole bunch of side stuff, but this kid's still here trying to get somebody to buy him a knife. Sorry, Bubba. Not happening. I ain't buying you that knife. Heritage Hills restored. The city guard reports that the howling cataclysm atop the tower has ceased. Restoration efforts are underway. Best bounty that's come up in a long while. And guess who steals it out from under me? Buying, that rotten bastard. At least he didn't kill you. Him and his giant slayers are mean sons of bitches. Yeah, him and his giant slayers are also dead. Because, rather than work with me, they attacked me. And, that was a mistake. Because I'm still alive. They're not. So you don't have to worry about buying the giant slayers no more. Hey, Weenan. We got some matters to discuss. Whedon casually nods your way. His eyes continue to float from mercenary to mercenary as he speaks. What else do you need? So the dozens are part of the animancy hearings at the Ducal Palace?
Someone's got to keep the blazing Crucible Knights from leading us all to ruin, and the Dominels certainly aren't doing their part. But Wolfgren's still a man of the people. He's always been sensible in other matters. He'll hear us out eventually.
He rolls his eyes. What are your thoughts on animancy? It'll be our downfall if we let it. Kif weren't meant to meddle in matters of the soul. It's only fools that can't see it, or troublemakers that won't. He leans in, arms folded. And I suspect we've got more than a few of those vying for the dukes here. Cheats and frauds looking to profit from disaster. Well, while I do think the animancy needs to be kept on a leash, this whole Hollowborn thing is not their fault. How are the hearings going? Morley tells me it's a rough fight. The Duke's looking for any means he can to combat the legacy, and everyone knows the Knights are working on him in the background. As for the Dominels, I can't tell what they're up to. Probably taking coin from the Knights to keep this whole farce going. I was hoping to attend the animancy hearings with the dozens. He claps you on the shoulder. It'll be good to have you there under our banner. Someone's got to convince the Duke to abandon this folly. The Duke will hear the truth about animancy. Whelan casually nods your way. His eyes continue to float from mercenary to mercenary as he speaks. What else do you need? No, that's it. Cool, so I can get in now? I don't know if he's going to be so happy when I tell the truth, but the truth I'm going to tell. Alright, well, back to first fire as I go. Only people with official invitations are allowed to observe the animancy hearings. But I'm here on behalf of the dozens. I need to talk to someone else first.
Hello.
For the first time, he turns his full attention toward you, and his eyes flicker in recognition. Of course, that policy's for the general public. Exceptions can be made for those who have already proven their worth. I have. I've been doing all sorts of good stuff around here. He looks up at the shelf and withdraws a thick volume, shifting a layer of dust aside with his hand. The rosters are in the front. The inventories of the dead in the back. He passes it to Adair's outstretched hands. Alright, sweet. Adair leafs through the book for some time anxiously, running his thick farmhand's fingers over page after page of names. At last, his hand stops, his fingers just below one name.
Woden Talesh died 18 Majavern 2808. Third Battle of Cleaban Relog. Blazing Glonfather names, I swear.
I'm with you, Adair.
Right, Saris?
He stops short, his eyes bulging. They scan back and forth, over and over. Read Saras.
I'll be the effigy. He fought for Raid Saris. Why did he fight for Raid Saris?
He stares at the page, his jaw agape, now suddenly looking up at you. I'm sure he had a good reason. I am too. He stares at the page, his complexion drained. I am too.
We gotta go there. That battlefield. Clea, the one I said. I don't know how else I'm gonna make sense of all this. I gotta see what he saw.
A strange look comes over Adair.
And who knows, maybe his spirit will even be there and you can have one of your weird talks with him. And worth trying, right?
I'll help you any way I can, Adair.
I appreciate that. I wish I could say you won't regret it, but you certainly might.
Alright, so how can I get in? Oh, it's still locked. I can't... But I'm here on behest of the dozens. Who do I need to speak to? Damn it. I've been invited to join the Dozens delegation. Oh, I need to talk to Lady Webb. Okay. Hey, Fergus, how you doing?
Greetings.
Alright. Back to Brackenberry we go. I suppose Lady Webb wants to know that I've been invited. And maybe they try to manipulate me in some way. Who knows? We'll see. She's been pretty forthright so far, but I have a feeling she'll probably try to steer me in one direction or another eventually.
How fares your search? What of them?
The dozens have accepted me into their delegation.
Of all the groups, it is the dozens that the Duke fears most. If you have their ear, you will most certainly have Avar's.
Very good.
You need waste no more time here. Get to the palace. Make your case to the Duke. With him on our side, all of Deerwood can be mobilized against the Leaden Key, and Theos can be rooted out. I only wish I could be there to see it. There is a very old bottle of a very good brandy that I have been saving for a special day. If you hurry back afterward, there may be a little left for you. Off with you. You're going to do very well in there.
I'm gonna do this for you. I think it's time you told me everything about Theos.
I've told you everything you need to know.
But not everything.
It's only right that you know everything. When I was younger, before Dunreed Row, I had many suitors. These were fine-looking men of good stock, but I could see their thoughts, and they were unimpressive. Boys' thoughts. I toyed with their affections. I resented all of them.
Lady Webb looks down at her hands. Lost in thought, she shakes her head. A rattling sigh struggles to escape her throat.
And then I met a man whose mind was a mystery to me. But he understood me. He knew me at a glance, told me things I didn't know about myself. He was neither handsome nor charming. He was all I ever wanted.
You're talking about
We made a
Theos.
game of my gift. He would ask me about people, and I would tell him what they were thinking. Sometimes the information was very sensitive. And then one day he asked me if I trusted him. I said I did. Next I knew I was donning a silver mask and swearing oaths to Woodica. Using my gift for the Leaden Key still felt like a game to me, so I did it. I did it because it pleased him.
But it didn't last.
I don't like living in the dark. It's a powerless, hopeless feeling. Every day I did things without knowing their purpose. Every day I loved a man without knowing his thoughts of me. I sensed that there were things he wanted to tell me. I sensed that he knew everything the Leaden Key was created to hide. But Theos was unyielding. One day I disappeared without a word. He would kill me for it, and I knew that. It's their rule. I just wanted to see him plunge the knife, because then I would know. But the day never came. He has left me to wonder. I have devoted my years to learning everything I could about him, in hopes I would find some clue as to who he really was, and why he felt he had to keep his secrets locked away. I have precious little to show for it. Just an old woman nagged by old thoughts.
She rubs at a smudge on her left palm.
And that is truly everything I can tell you about Theos. I hope you will accept this embarrassing story as a show of my good faith.
That'll do. She looks back up at you. Alright. Off to the palace we go. Same palace I was at 5 minutes ago. Messengers from the Gilded Veil bring shocking news. Lord Riedrich VII, loyal Thane, blah blah blah. He's succeeded by Kolsch, last surviving relative of the Riedrich line. Alright, Bubba, let me in. A place has been reserved for you on the balcony, Beefsteak. Go to the upper floor. Okay. We received word from Wiener you would be attending, Beefsteak. The balcony has been opened to you. Oh yeah! Oh yeah, oh yeah! Duke Ivar, Wolfgren. The room below is animated amidst the heated debate. All the representative groups are easily discerned in the crowd. Crucible Knights, stiff in their noisy armor, sit in one section. In another are well-dressed members of House Duminel, casual, watching over predators' interest. Still elsewhere are the ramshackle dozens, who have made no special effort to dress up for their liege lord. Interspersed are animancers in their academics' robes with expressions either sour or concerned. At the back of the chamber sits the Duke, sprawled in his throne, worn down but alert and feisty nonetheless. This is where the volume of things, because he's way off at the edge of the screen, so it's super duper quiet, is kind of bothersome, and I can't shift the screen over because this is as far as the map goes. Oh well. Well then, answer this, Master Barash. If your animators represent our best hope to cure the legacy, what progress can you demonstrate?
Ramir de Barask is originally from Palminia. He's one of the finest minds in animancy to come out of the Valian Republics. He left for Defiance Bay 5 years ago, because he believed this was the true heart of animancy research.
Palagina leans in for a whisper. In Palagina's words, and the way she looks at her countrymen, you sense both pride and a mild sense of frustration.
As I've said, it isn't about progress, it's about potential.
My house would agree, Your Grace. We see great potential in its future.
And I suppose your blazing profits during the legacy don't have nothing to do with that, do they, Dominel? You can't have it both ways no more! Animancy goes, or this country goes!
So you admit, Master Barask, that animancy is no closer to stopping the legacy than it ever was?
No, we've had many promising experiments. Cadman Azo has shown...
Cadman Azo is dead. I put a blade through him myself. Didn't want to, but, you know, it was what it was.
Cadman Azo murdered a child. For a complete failure. We should be hanging him right now for what he done. The dozens won't stand for it.
Dozens are gonna like what I have to say, though.
There is no need. Master Azo recently passed the Shroud. And while the experiment failed, his work...
Here we go. His work was sabotaged. All at once, the attendees turned their faces toward you, a mishmash of judgment and incredulity. Only the Duke, a wild-looking man with a scraggly beard, seems unfazed by your interruption. Ah, our new delegate from the dozens. What makes you say sabotage? I met a false patient in Brackenbury Sanitarium who had tampered with Azo's machinery.
The fuck's that even matter? These are people who would toy with the lives of our children!
Indeed, even assuming there was sabotage, is this Animancer Azo not still accountable here? Yeah, while his experiment was sabotage, he was going too far. Yes, he is. Kidman Azo's ambitions exceeded his ethics. Alof whispers between gritted teeth. After the farce we saw at the sanitarium, I couldn't agree more.
Exactly! Look at what happened in Heritage Hill. Our supposed protectors from Crucible Keep can't even clean up the messes Animancy leaves!
Your Grace, we'd have a much easier time of it if our knights weren't so occupied trying to keep their organization from igniting a revolution on our very doorstep.
Heritage Hill is blood on your hands, Justiciar! You turn a blind eye, and look what happens.
The Crucible Knights are blameless here. This was not the workings of Animancy, but an ancient device in Tir Nuneth. You've some strange taste in travels, friend. The height of your tails expands with every breath. I keep repeating this because I don't know if you can hear it because it's so freaking low. I only ask that you listen to what I have to say and make your own judgment. Very well. Tell us what you claim to have seen in Heritage Hill. Tir Nuneth houses an Egwithan machine that holds dominion over the flow of souls. It was this machine that made the district undead. Even if it is as you say, we have testimony that a group of animancers have been spending time there. Surely their tinkering had something to do with this. I have reason to believe there were others at the tower who might have done this.
Animancy has many enemies. You need only look around this room to see it.
You're missing the point! Everywhere there's Animancers, there's disaster! We all know what Widewind's legacy's really about. And it ain't about some sparkling saint from Creed Ceres who's mad because he took a stroll down the wrong bridge!
Ha! Wrong bridge indeed.
It's about a bunch of so-called intellectuals fucking with the natural order while the rest of us gotta suffer for it!
Is it, though? Should we not take the time to reach a clear conclusion? I mean, what proof do we have?
My son and daughter are buried beneath the floor of my house. We don't own no land, so that's where we lay them. My son, my wife let him slip when she was bathing him. Got water in his lungs, he couldn't cough up. My daughter, we put her to bed one night, and the next morning she wasn't breathing. This Hollowborn thing, it ain't ending. And it ain't ending because we still let these charlatans play God. There's your proof, you damn copper fucker!
I know. Enough, Edric. Lady Dumino makes a point. If it's Animancy, then why do the other states that permit the practice not suffer the same fate? Who among us can say he truly understands why the legacy has taken hold here? The grieving mother reaches towards your mind with hers. Bring order to the chaos here. I can. The crowd begins to mutter, the sound taking a doubtful character. Right idea, Watcher. Taking this hearing by the curly ones. Don't waste your chance. Widewind's legacy is the creation of the Leaden Key. Caedmon Azo's downfall was their work, as was the tower in Heritage Hill. They want you to do this. They want Animancy to fall. The dull muttering expands into a din of skepticism that fills the hall. I have seen them in the ruins of Air Glanthath, operating machines that disrupt and redirect the flow of souls. near towns like Gilded Vale and Durford, where the legacy is universal. As a watcher, I have heard their dead confess their plot. They are stealing the souls of the unborn.
Beasts. Another lunatic at the hearing. Did you remember to lock your sanitarium before you left, Master Barask?
Oh man, I could say some really horrible stuff to her. Alright. I'm gonna go with the most diplomatic way. Even though I would really love to tell her this. And another playthrough, because holy smokes, that is awesome. If, as the Duke says, no theory has more proof than any other, what is the harm in hearing one more? Duke Ivar Wolfgren. The Duke leans forward in his throne, a trace of curiosity in his eyes. You must know, friend, that the Leaden Key is a mantle for small-time ruffians and children to play. I'm not saying you're a liar, not yet, but you better start making sense of all this. Help us believe you. What do we got? What's more likely that gods are destroying Durwood for science practiced in many parts of the world, or that a group of people hates animancy and wants to suppress? The Leaden Key is very real. There are foreigners from Edra and Zuitseras who hate Durwood and want to see it suffer. Let's say a lord is cuckolded by his wife. If he tells her to stop, she'll only want her lover more. But if he spreads rumors that her lover has just visited a brothel and acquired a pox in his lungs, she'll hunt it on her own. I'm going diplomatic again. We all want the same thing here. We want Waidwin's legacy to end. If we work together instead of arguing, we can stop the people who are doing this. You speak truth, Watcher. Unfortunately, I fear it falls on deaf ears in this place.
No self-respecting member of the Dozens is gonna let these animancers keep casting their black magics in the same districts where there's children being born!
You need to get over that. Animancers have nothing to do with this. The Leaden Key is your enemy.
I think I can tell my friends from my enemies on my own. You better watch which side you fall on.
Or what? You've made an unexpected case, friend. I'll say that much. It seems we have a new possibility to consider, at the very least. How was it you came to learn all this? Well, the Dozens really had nothing to do with this. I took a personal interest in the matter and tried to learn what I could. That is the truth. The Duke raises his eyebrows. Indeed, this line is foreign to you, unless I miss my guess. Your efforts on its behalf are to be commended. But these hearings are about more than Waidwin's legacy, even though that is our more pressing concern. Let's say for the moment that I were to take you at your word that our friends at the Brackenbury Sanitarium and their peers bear no responsibility for this curse upon my country. I'm curious, what would you do in my position? I'm going to take the middle ground because it's really what I feel. While the Animancers are not to blame for this, there's great danger in what they're doing. Also great potential, but yeah. They need to be... They can't just be allowed to go and do anything, whatever they want without restrictions, because things could go horribly wrong. The Animancers of Durwood have been given too long a leash. Practice should be restricted and controlled. Palgina shoots a glance your way, her eyes furrowing in annoyance. Well, sorry, Palgina. It is what it is. And just who would regulate it? Charlatans like Azo, or fools like Ethelmower, clueless as to what goes on within their own walls? Very well. That is all I wish to hear. Not just from you, but from everyone. Many days we've been at this. It's time we put it to rest. I want to thank the delegations for helping me to collect my thoughts, and our new delegate who, if nothing else, has made this final day a little more interesting. The time has come to choose a direction for Durwood. I'm ready to make my pronouncement. Ramdi de Barash, representing the interest of the Animancers in Durwood, step forward.
Your Grace.
The arguments for and against animancy are both strong.
Oh, it's
I must be careful
Theos.
in my judgment.
Forgive me, Your Grace. We will accept no judgment but our own.
What's he doing? No! Avenge the Duke!
No, wait!
Stop this!
Well played, Theos. Well played.
I've given you every chance to end this pursuit. Shall I end it for you? Another time. I am already late.
This isn't over, Theos. The words, "Shall I end it for you," ring in your ears. You find yourself gasping for breath, struggling to keep your own balance. You drop to a knee and watch as Theos hurries out of the building. The world dims around you, the screams and clashing of weapons fading to silence. All that remains are the words.
Shall I end it for you?
Theos stands at a pulpit high above an assembly of robed onlookers. You among them, clustered around a wide circular pit carved out of stone. He addresses a woman bound backward over a large iron wheel, looking the great stone maw. Many of the woman's fingers and toes are severed, and the bottoms of her feet are charred black. The skin on one side of her face looks like a melted candle wax, black and red and seeping. And the angle of her back suggests a spine in ruins. Yet for all that, her expression betrays little of her anguish.
I am already at peace, Grand Inquisitor. Are you?
Her eyes are barely open and her words come between strangled breaths, but they are steady, unbroken.
So be it. If you desire no end, you shall have none. I find you guilty of heresy. May the eternal prison bar your soul from passage, for it is beyond redemption.
He nods to a hooded attendant who begins untying her from the wheel. You open your eyes to the beamed ceilings of the palace grand entry hall. The clangs of metal striking metal wafted in from outside along the cries of the injured as you stagger to your feet. Theos is gone. Eder leans in, his head upside down in your sight as he peers down at you from above. Hey, you're alive. He looks you over, frowning. Can you move? We shouldn't stick around. When Durwoodens get stirred up, they like to start burning things. Off to one side you can hear the clinking rustle of chainmail, and you look over to see a wounded guard slumped against the wall. He's trying to say something, seemingly directed at you, but at first it's too faint to hear. He gathers his breath and manages to rasp out a few words. Lady Webb, she's the only. She must be told. She'll know what to do. Please, find her. Tell her everything. The guard passes out and slides to the floor, still. Oh, adventure completed. Oh, might as well take what's here. Nobody here to stop me.
Be cautious. Be constant.
Yeah, 200 gold, I could. Alright. Better than nothing, I suppose. Ooh, up here too, maybe. I'm glad I got these records for Eder before all this happened. I don't know if I could afterwards. No, he's still here and he's still non-aggressive. Okay. Either way, off to Brackenbury I go. Don't go out there. There's rioting in the streets. I have to. This isn't gonna be that simple, huh? Let's see, we got a barricade here, barricade here, barricade here. So I have to go this way. Stand down. You don't want to. We don't want to fight you. Neither side is aggressive to me. Okay. Well, I'm just moving on then. See ya. Y'all do your thing.
I'll see what I can find.
Oh, I got another point in diplomatic. Didn't really help me stop what happened down there, but I tried. I tried. Ooh, Animancer boots. Jolting touch plus 3 damage reduction against shock. So who doesn't have boots? She doesn't have boots. She's the only one who doesn't have boots. Does she already have a bonus against shock? No, I guess not. Well then. Here, have some new boots. Oh wow, this place has been wiped out too. Might as well loot it while I'm here. Thank you. I'll take some of that too. Yes sir. And what do we have here? Spirits, I'll take those.
A simple test.
I'll take that. Take that. Weapon rack. Why, yes, thank you. Oh, did Lady Web get killed? There's 3 lore. Lady Webb lies still in her bed, an ornate cushion propping her back upright. The blood pooled beneath a gash in her chest is tacky and nearly dry. A shattered glass rests on the floor beneath her dangling head. Brandy. You can feel the faint aura of her fading essence in your ken. You make contact and are immersed in a torrent of sensory input and experience. When it comes, you find yourself in the same room, lying in bed with a glass of brandy in your hand. Through the walls from the streets outside comes the sound of screams and shattering glass and the cacophony of an angry mob. You take a sip and it warms your gullet. Across the room, the door opens behind a patient, steady push. Into the room walks Theos, the floorboards creaking beneath deliberate steps. You wait until the last of the brandy has trickled down your throat before you speak.
I was a fool to think I could tame these people.
You came closer than most.
A fine epitaph.
No worse than any.
You are concentrating, focusing all your energy. It feels as though you are diving into a stone wall over and over, but it cracks suddenly, unexpectedly, allowing the vaguest wisp of a thought to leak through.
What's in Twin Elms?
Did you pull that from my thoughts?
I've had time to practice.
Ah.
He walks over to a small table and raises a half-empty brandy bottle to eye level. He seems to approve of the selection and begins to reach for an empty glass.
I was saving that for someone.
Pity. You know this is how it has to be.
He replaces the brandy bottle on the table with care before approaching the bedside. He sits on the edge of the bed next to you. His words come freely, absent of all doubt. He draws a long, curved knife from his belt, smeared with fresh blood. With his left hand, he gently pins your sternum as he raises the knife in the other, its point dangling above your heart.
Prove it.
Theo slips the knife between your ribs and pushes it through. Layers of tissue separate with brittle, papery stiffness, and blood wells up around the blade. A pulse of reflex causes you to drop your glass to the floor, and you hear it shatter. With the last of your strength, you take his knife hand in both yours, a question radiant in your mind. For an instant, to your great surprise, the pathway to his mind is left open for you, unguarded, and the answer comes, simple, cataclysmic in its reordering of your thoughts. As Lady Webb, you feel as though you have an answer you've searched for all your life, but in your own mind, her understanding lies just beyond your reach. You look at Theos with the wide eyes of someone seeing for the first time and draw your last breath as a black, velvety darkness descends over you.
Smoke rises above the city walls in billowing plumes that blacken the sky like a storm. Behind the walls, the riots rage on. Known patrons of Animancy are forced into hiding as looters ransack their estates and make off with their possessions. Animancers are torn away from their families and dragged from their homes to be stoned to death in the streets. Word had spread immediately that Duke Avar had been assassinated, and that an Animancer was to blame. The city wasted little time in exacting revenge, and little effort into evaluating guilt. In the center of it all, Brackenberry Sanitarium burned. And down the lane, Hodred House, the last bastion of stability in the Deerwood, had fallen silent. Now safely outside the city gate, your path points eastward to Twin Elms, where Theos is bound, for reasons that remain mysterious as the leaden key itself.
Woohoo! Act 2 is finished! Woohoo! Anybody level up? No? I got a long ways to go. Alright. Theos has killed the Duke and Lady Webb and sent Defiance Bay into chaos. But Lady Webb saw where he intended to go next. The city of Twin Elms. It is there I must go if there's any chance of catching up to him. I saw Lady Webb's last moments. Theos killed her in her bed, but not before she got him to admit he was heading to Twin Elms. I wonder if she did that knowing that I'd see it. Alright, well, I know where to go. And... well, actually, next time I'll probably go back to my stronghold, because I kind of want to do a couple more levels of the Paths of Adnua, especially now that I'm level 9. But then after that, we'll go to Twin Elms.